Good evening, everyone. I welcome you all to the live launch of our flagship Business Idea Challenge for B Schoolers over the wall. I'm Roshni Das, and I lead talent acquisition and business partnering for new businesses and the R&D function for Marico. I'm happy to share that we have completed 10 incredible seasons of Over the Wall since its inception and excited to launch season 11 today. The success of Over the Wall in all the previous seasons wouldn't have been possible without the amazing enthusiasm, zeal, and thought provoking ideas showcased by the brightest minds across the leading B schools in the country. I'm quite positive that season 11 will witness a lot more participation and contribution this year from each one of you. Hence, urging all of you to get ready to don the hat of a business leader, to stretch your imagination and infuse fresh energy and perspectives to Over the Wall season 11. As we move towards launching the season 11, I would first like to invite our Chief Human Resources Officer, Amit Prakash, to throw some light on the legacy of Over the Wall, the unique proposition that it offers, and the challenge that we have to offer in this season for all of you. Welcoming Amit.
Thank you, Roshni. Good evening. It is always a pleasure to connect and interact with bright young minds. I welcome you all to the launch of Over the Wall. Marico is one of India's leading consumer goods companies operating in beauty and wellness categories. We nurture leading brands across categories like hair care, skincare, edible oils, healthy foods, meal grooming, and fabric care. In India, we touch lives of one out of every three Indians. That's a very, very deep reach for all the population in India. As an organization, we have always believed in building foresight in all that we do. We have always adapted to changing environment and trends in the industry. Over the years, we have reinvented ourselves to stay relevant to our end consumers and their ever evolving habits. We believe in always being consumer first in our brands and product offerings, and always member first or always employees first in creating an attractive and future looking workplace. Diversification of business has been our focus both in domestic and international markets. It has been a driving force in building a sustainable and healthy growth. Our diversification journey aims at creating a consumer centric portfolio which is built on a long term perspective to drive sustained growth and competitive advantage in the marketplace. Diversification for Marico is fostered on a culture that promotes innovation and entrepreneurial spirit by inviting diverse perspectives and ideas. It helps us in accelerating our journey. Over the Wall is one such platform which has played a crucial role in enrolling and encouraging fresh perspectives, ideas, and solutions into the organization from our young consumers and future leaders across the country. Since 2012, it has been encouraging to witness participants of Over the Wall come up with innovative business ideas and solutions. Over the Wall, as a platform, aspires to excite the business leaders within each one of you. As we begin our journey in the Over the Wall season 11, I extend a warm invitation to all the young minds and invite them to discover the business leader within each one of you. It is also an opportunity for all of you to experience Marico's core culture and ethos, which is built on trust, ownership, innovation, inclusion, and collaboration, the key tenets that form the bedrock of Marico. During this journey, you'll get a platform to discuss, present, and pitch your ideas with our MD and CEO, Saugata Gupta, and our CXO members. In the final stages of the competition, you will have an opportunity to work with and collaborate with an emerging startup being mentored by Marico Innovation Foundation, which will also enable the top three teams to have an opportunity to learn from our owner and founder, Harsh Mariwala. While winning ideas will have prizes to the tune of 10 lakhs, the most important part of the entire competition is that one of the groundbreaking ideas will also stand the chance of winning a seed funding. This competition will stand true to our belief of creating an ecosystem where every voice resonates, every idea holds value, and every achievement is celebrated. So, if you're curious to grow beyond, if you're ready to challenge your own limits, if you're determined to leap over the wall, we invite you to join and participate in Over the Wall Season 11. Wishing you the best in this journey. With this, I would now like to invite Somasri Bosavasti, our Chief Marketing Officer, to share her thoughts on the innovation journey of Marico. Soma, over to you. Welcome.
Thank you so much. Hello, everyone. Today, we are going to take a journey through Marico's remarkable innovation story. At Marico, innovation isn't just a word, it's the very heartbeat of our existence. Our journey commenced with a single spark of innovation ignited by our founder and chairman, Mr. Harsh Mariwala. He saw an opportunity in the edible oils market. He dared to challenge the status quo by introducing branded, smaller packages directly to consumers. This bold move marked the birth of Marico. Our commitment to innovation didn't stop there. Over the years, we diversified our offerings, catering to the evolving needs of our consumers. We explored different categories from hair care to skin care to healthy foods with an aim to create unique offerings that add value to the lives of our consumers. Also, we believe that it's important to embrace innovation in every aspect. So at Marico, it's not just about product, packaging, and pricing innovations, but also innovations around supply chain, talent management, and business models. It can be about solving a process bottleneck, building a diverse team, or a complete paradigm shift in the way of doing business. We constantly challenge ourselves to find better ways of doing things. Also, we understand that the innovation is not a solo endeavor, it's a team effort. Hence, we foster a culture that encourages collaboration and diversity of thought. Our members come together to brainstorm, experiment, and co create solutions that push boundaries, and the results speak for themselves. Our innovations have earned us recognition and accolades, but more importantly, they have helped us build meaningful connections with our consumers. From the iconic parachute coconut oil bottle to the revolutionary Safola range, each product has a story of innovation behind it. Looking ahead, the future of innovation at Marico is exciting as ever. We are harnessing the power of technology, data, and insights to create even more personalized experiences for our consumers. Our journey is far from over. Innovation comes to be the cornerstone of everything we do at Marico. The Over the Wall Season 11 could be your chance to join us in writing the next chapter of Marico's innovation journey. Leap over the wall, that's the hashtag, and participate in Marico's Over the Wall Season 11 and discover the business leader in you. Handing over to Adya to take the proceedings forward and wish you all the best.
Hello, everyone. I'm Adya. I am HR Manager Campus for Marico. I would like to thank Amit and Somashri for their amazing insights on the USP of the competition as well as Marico's innovation journey. Now, I would like Unstop team to play the launch video. Now, I would like to invite Siddharth Roy, who heads modern trade for Marico, to unveil the theme of Over the Wall Season 11. Over to you, Siddharth.
Hello, everyone, and good evening. It is my pleasure and privilege to welcome all of you to season 11 of Over the Walls. What a journey it has been for the last 10 years, and I'm sure that this year is going to be as great. At Marico, our goal has always been to consistently provide value to our stakeholders to growth through growth, which is both socially inclusive and financially sustainable. As we envision the next stage of our growth, this will come alive to what we call the 4Ds, that of digital, diversity, distribution, and diversification. Of these 4Ds, the diversification agenda is a pivotal one. This approach is integral to our success, or rather, has been integral to our success in both our domestic as well as international markets, driving growth in recent times. And we envision it to continue doing so in the longer term over the next 10, 15, 20 years for the organization. The way we do that is by building a forward looking portfolio that helps us maintain a competitive edge. As we go into this year's challenge, let me invite all of you to don the hats of a business leader and come up with a promising business idea that supports the diversification agenda for Marico. The idea that we want from all of you has to be number one, innovative, also should enable the expansion of our existing portfolio and thus drive growth for us. The categories in which we are looking for ideas are healthy food, premium personal care, hair nourishment, and hair styling. Once again, the categories healthy food, premium personal care, hair nourishment, and hair styling. The way we are going to assess the ideas is we have a very robust set of criteria that we would take each idea through and try and understand if it ticks all these markers. Essentially, what we are looking for is that the idea has to have some relevance to Marico's context. It has to be desirable for the consumer. It has to be innovative. You have to do a lot of market research and consumer insighting. That's like hygiene that we expect from all of you. And finally, whatever idea you propose, it has to be feasible, it has to be implementable. If all of these come together, you create magic, and you create magic in Over the Wall Season 11. Over to you, Adya.
Thank you, Siddharth, for unveiling the theme of Over the Wall Season 11. Now, I would like to invite Ms. Suranjana Ghosh to talk about the impact that various Over the Wall Season winners and finalists have made to Marico Innovation Foundation. Over to you, Suranjana.
Thank you so much, Adya. And on behalf of Marico Innovation Foundation, where I work as the head of the foundation, I welcome all of you to season 11 of Over the Wall Challenge. This, as you would imagine, is a very unique business challenge because it offers you the opportunity to work with real time startup entrepreneurs and founders. You actually get the opportunity to feel what it is like to be in the shoes of a startup entrepreneur. You get the exposure to real time challenges. You work with the mentors from the Marico Innovation Foundation, as well as with the cohort members that are part of the Marico Innovation Foundation. A bit about the Marico Innovation Foundation, as you would have heard from everybody else who's spoken so far, innovation is at the core DNA of Marico. And having said that, it was founded by Mr. Harsh Mariwala 20 years back in 2003 to be able to give back to the ecosystem, to understand how we might be able to fuel more entrepreneurship and more innovation in India. And with that particular aspect in mind, we've always looked at being able to support entrepreneurs who are looking at being able to create completely game changing, category creating innovations that also have social, economic, and environmental impact. So with the winning three teams actually get the opportunity to work live and do the thought partnership aspect with our mentors and founders from our cohort of the Scale Up program within the Marico Innovation Foundation. You will get the real time experience of solving holistic business challenges, not just from a single aspect, maybe of marketing or market access or distribution, but literally looking at the entire picture and being able to solve for this for our entrepreneurs. All successful solutions can be taken forward by the entrepreneur in the long term. You will also get the opportunity to work on primary and secondary insighting. You'll get the opportunity to work on field, and you'll actually get to hear from some of our previous winners on how this has impacted their MBA journey as they got the opportunity to meet the real India, to understand what a product looks like on shelves, what makes the product move or not move, and how can they actually improve that particular process? How do you actually perform in terms of creating innovative strategies that can deliver more with less monies? How do you adapt the concepts that you're learning in B school to options that are not very often FMCG? And how do you look at looking at different diverse categories and applying those learnings that you have? And for all the other winners and all the other participants in the previous years, we know that they've had a very strong bonding, both with the mentors as well as with the startup founders that they worked with, as this part of the challenge has helped them create real value, real long lasting value and relationships. And that has helped them to work with the startup to meet its business goals. And with that, I would really like to welcome you to Over the Wall Season 11. We are really looking forward to being able to work with you and provide you with this amazing opportunity to work with startups that are changing the face of India. Back to you, Adya.
Thanks a lot, Suranjana, for speaking about one of the unique proposition of the competition. And Over the Wall is the only B School challenge wherein you get to work to solve real-time business problems. So now, before I talk about my take on the competition, I would like to invite the winning team from Over the Wall season 10 to talk about their journey of, of season 10 and the highlights of the journey. Hi.
Hi, thank you, Adya, and hello everyone. Good evening. We are Team Game Changers from SPJMR, Mumbai. I am Dhruvin.
I'm Ayush.
I'm Ria.
So we'll go through the incredible journey that we had with Marico. So when it comes to forming a team, we thought that it's very good idea to have people with different inclination, so that the product that you make has a very strong foundation, right? But fun fact, Ayush and Ria had already made a team, and they were just looking for the third person, and they had asked two people, so they tossed a coin, and essentially I was a product of that coin toss. Now, coming to the problem statement, it was actually a very wide and open statement. So there are two things about it. First, it was good because we had the creative freedom to think out of the box. And second, it was very challenging because we had to think everything from a scratch. So when we were brainstorming about the different ideas before the round one deadline, every day we came up with an idea that was better than the past one. So it was very time consuming. But then at 1 a.m., one day before the deadline, at 1 a.m., we finalized an idea which was in women nutrition space, and then we went ahead with that.
Okay, so let me talk about the second part of the case competition, the live project that we did under Marico Innovation Foundation. So we worked with this company called EF Polymer. It's a startup, and they produced a special type of high water absorbent polymer, and which was to be sold to farmers to increase their crop yield and reduce their water consumption. And we got an opportunity to go to Uttar Pradesh and we interviewed many of retailers, farmers, and in a span of approximately 6 to 7 days, try to find out the pain points they were facing and why the product was not selling, or how we can increase the sale of the product in that particular region. And we were able to devise a lot of solutions. We would able to apply proof of concept of some of our solutions and see how it would go about. And we also got a lot of help from the mentors of Marico Innovation Foundation to fine tune our ideas to be able to present to our founder, Mr. Harsh Mariwal. And coming to the days for the final presentation, we were very nervous, but I think we were cohesive enough, and we just got through it.
Yeah, so we worked on the competition and the live project with the startup for around 5 months. And it was a wonderful experience. Like, it is a highlight of our MBA journey for all three of us. It was a life changing experience. We got to learn a lot. At every stage, we were assigned mentors who supported us, who helped us, who gave us so much guidance, that from the first round, that when the idea is very in its raw form and you do not have much idea, to the startup round where you are actually solving a startup's real life problem, like what they are actually facing. But throughout it all, you have support of Marico team. You will have your friends who will be supporting you. And yeah, like, we would just say that it's a beautiful competition. It has been crafted very carefully, very thoughtfully. You'll get to learn a lot, you'll enjoy a lot. So yeah, just give it your all. And we just conclude by saying that we found our luck in ordering burgers just before results were announced. So participate in your competition and maybe you'll find something lucky for you as well.
Thanks a lot, Ayush, Riya, and Dhruvin, for joining us and talking about your experience in the competition. Now that we are on the topic, pre placement interviews are one of the rewards of Over the Wall season 11, just like all the older years. So we have two of our management trainees who have joined us from Over the Wall route. And I would like to invite to Astha and Kanishk to talk about their experience. Astha, please go ahead.
Thank you, Adya. So, personally, Over the Wall season 10 was a tremendous learning experience for me, especially working with senior leaders and industry experts. It was more than just a competition, since it gave our team the flexibility to innovate as freely as we could. And it also helped us get a grab of how bringing a product into being takes a great deal of effort, with different teams working day in and day out together in sync to ensure that both value proposition and profitability are in sync. Lastly, getting that chance of presenting to the CXO panel of Marico as well as to Mr. Mariwala was absolutely an extraordinary moment for all of us. We came back with valuable feedback and great insights on how business leaders usually think. As Adya mentioned, so through Over the Wall, I also got the opportunity to interview for a management trainee position, which in itself was nothing short of a dream for me. The last 2 months of working with Marico have been amazing. Every day carries a different challenge, new learnings, and most importantly, I think the freedom to learn by making mistakes and adapt on the go. Uh, these 2 months have helped widen my perspective of how every small step can create a big change, and how these changes have real world impact for an organization and its stakeholders. And I think, lastly, the ease with which we can access the more experienced people in the organization in case of any queries or even to get any feedback is commendable given the scale of the organization. Yeah, over to you, Kanishk.
Sure. Hi everyone, very good evening. So I participated in Over the Wall in the year 2019-20. It's been almost 4 years. A few key things that I remember and which I would like to share with you. Firstly, what this competition taught me was how different stakeholders within Marico interact with one another to create a strong solution. So for a competition, the case project, we had to interact with sales, marketing, supply chain, finance, and a number of other functions. That taught me how different stakeholders come together and create a common solution. Number two, what the competition did was it gave us a very strong platform and an access to Marico's CXO panel. We got the opportunity to interact with and learn from the guidance of Mr. Harsh Mariwala, Mr. Saugata Gupta, and the entire CXO panel of Marico. That was definitely a great experience. And what I remember the most and what was the most enriching experience of my entire MBA journey was definitely the live project. So we got an opportunity to work on a live project with the Marico Innovation Foundation. That involved a lot of market research, a lot of creating hypotheses, testing them in the market, and eventually, coming up with solutions, testing them across the DFE parameters, finally giving the presentation to Mr. Harsh Mariwala. What mattered most was the validation we got on our idea and to see it later being implemented in the market. Post completion of Over the Wall, what it eventually led to an internship and finally management trainee stint with Marico. It's been 2 years since I've been working with Marico. Currently, I am the area sales manager for Odisha. So I look after a business of 100 CR and almost a team of 70 people. While I like several things about the organization, what I enjoy the most is the amount of accountability and the responsibility that's given to me. The organization has a very strong entrepreneurial spirit. Anything that you can think of, it makes business sense. You have the freedom to go ahead and do that. So, been 2 years, I've been loving every single day of it. And if I look back 4 years back, none of this would have been possible had I not taken the decision to participate in Over the Wall 4 years back. So yeah, I would give the same advice to you guys. Go ahead. It's a great competition. You guys will definitely enjoy it to the fullest. All the best.
Thanks a lot, Kanishk. Thank you, Astha, for sharing your journey. It will definitely help us, the participants, the students, to come up with great ideas, and we'll have some amazing ideas to look at. Now that we have reached the end of the launch, I would like to invite Roshni Siddharth back on the screen, and we can have the live question and answer session. So, all the candidates can go ahead and post their queries if they have any for the competition, and we'll take that up.
Yep, I think we have one question which says, can you please elaborate on the case comp in terms of timeline and product of the case? So thanks for that question. I think this is not a case study competition, and maybe so that we can just reiterate our the theme of the event. So this is a business idea challenge, and hence we have a theme on which we expect all of you to share some of your most promising and innovative business ideas. And I'll probably request Siddharth to just reiterate the categories.
Yeah. So as I've already spoken, the categories are the way we are looking at this is that we want business ideas from you. We don't want a solution to a case, but more than that, something that is executable, that is implementable, and that has some amount of consumer desire, right? And the categories that we are looking at are healthy foods, premium personal care, hair nourishment, and hairstyling, which is essentially pretty much you if you see a significant portion of our existing portfolio. So whatever you do or whatever you bring alive, we would be able to take them to the market. We don't see this as a case study that you do and we file it in our cabinets. We want your ideas to be executable in the market and thus help us in our growth journey.
Thank you, Siddharth. There is one question that is coming from Arnab. How many rounds will be there in the competition? So, if I talk about, yeah, Roshni, if you can take this.
You can go ahead, Adya.
Yeah. So, if I talk about the rounds, so we'll have 4 rounds. We'll start with the quiz competition, post which we'll have some shortlist from the wildcard campuses as well as the participating campuses, and all of you will be submitting a business proposal on the theme that Siddharth has already talked about. Post a shortlist of that round, you will be working on devising a 5 slider proposal, and which will be fine tuned under the mentorship of our senior leaders at Marico. And if your idea gets through, you will be presenting to the CXOs. The top 3 teams from the CXO round, which is the third round, will have the opportunity to work on a live project under Marico Innovation Foundation. And post that, you will present your ideas to our founder and chairman, Mr. Harsh Mariwala. And basis that, the winners of the grand finale will be announced. Yeah, so these are the rounds that will be there in the competition.
I think there's a question from Bhavika on seed funding. I'll take that. So, Bhavika, the way we evaluate an idea for seed funding is that there are 3 parts to it. Let me break it up into 3 parts. One is how strong your business plan is, which essentially means have you done enough research to say that the business idea is solid enough? There is a product USP and a value proposition that you have brought alive through that. Have you really done your research in terms of the competitiveness of the industry, how scalable your business plan is? So these are broadly the parameters we look for in the business plan per se. The second part is how are you going to execute the same? So, for example, your pricing in terms of your sales and marketing plan, is there a robust supply chain plan there? Are there risks that you foresee, and have you really worked on mitigating those risks? So that's the execution bit of the business plan that we look at. And finally, of course, we look at financials. At the end of the day, a business plan is as good as the money that you make out of it, right? So we look at the kind of market share projections and volume and revenue projections that you have done. We look at the kind of P&L you have envisioned for your business idea. And finally, do they really make sense? Is that a plan on paper, or does it seem really executable, and does accrue the kind of financial benefits that you're claiming they would? So these are the 3 things that we would broadly look into before we really go for seed funding. Ultimately, it's real money that we would put into the your idea, and we expect it to be really robust for us to go ahead and put our money in there. I hope that answers for you.
So that there is one more question. So how do we define premiumness in the personal care category? Ashish is asking this question.
Okay. So let me try and answer this uh, in different ways. So when you say premiumness in the personal care category, your marketing MO 101 will tell you that there is a pricing ladder, and gradually you move shoppers or consumers up that ladder. That's one way to imagine about premiumness, or I'd rather call it premiumization than premiumness. The other way you can look at it is that there is a certain life cycle of a shopper or a consumer through which she goes through, and there are certain step jumps that the person makes in terms of the products or services that they use, right? uh, Let me give it bring this example alive bring it alive through an example in within the Marico's portfolio. uh, a vast majority of consumers in the country still use loose oil for oiling their hair. We are a hair oil company, and one of the ways we drive premiumization in our portfolio is that we want people to migrate from using loose oil, which is essentially commoditized and which you can buy off the shelf in loose package formats, to a branded plastic bottle of hair oil. And that marks a huge transition in the life cycle of a shopper or a consumer, right? Because suddenly you are owning a brand, you're becoming brand loyal, and this sort of answers another question where somebody has spoken about brand loyalty. So when I'm getting someone to sort of upgrade from using loose oil to a branded product, not only am I making a difference to that person's life, but also I'm creating a brand loyal consumer for me, because that's the first usage of a branded product for that person in many cases, right? So that is also another end of the premiumization. Often we think of premiumization as somebody migrating from 10,000 to a lakh, but a premiumization can also happen from 3 rupees to 20 rupees. That's also the other side of premiumization that we often talk about. I hope that answers.
Yep, thanks, Siddharth. And I think I can see a couple of questions here on the type of ideas that can come in. Can it be related to healthy foods? Can it be nutrition related products? Can it be a product or a service? And the answer to all of this is yes. We have shared a detailed competition guidelines also, which you can access on Unstop's platform, which is essentially our registration platform as well. Do refer to these guidelines to give you a sense of what we have already shared on this event as well, in terms of what are the categories, what is the evaluation criteria. I can see some questions here on the evaluation criteria of each idea. That's also mentioned in the competition guidelines. What are the guidelines for seed funding? All of it is covered. So look forward to all of you accessing that while you register on the Unstop platform.
Roshni, we have one question from Himanshu. He's asking, will wildcard campuses be given the PPI opportunity?
Yeah, so basically, what we have said is that the final shortlisted campuses and the campus winners do get, PPIs from Marico, and hence that applies there as well. We have called out in the guidelines again that there will be a quiz competition, which is essentially a shortlisting round and allows campuses to share their business idea submissions. If you've cleared the quiz round and you are amongst the shortlisted campuses and your business idea is shortlisted, most definitely you will also have the chance to win a Marico PPI.
So we have one question from Saurav Sarkar from IMT Ghaziabad. So, what is the scale of market research that would help us succeed in presenting a feasible business proposal?
Do you want me to take that?
Yeah, yes,
Sure,
Siddharth.
Siddharth.
Yeah. So, sort of, I think let's not define a scale per se, because if I give you a number saying 100 consumers or 200 consumers, that may not be the right way of looking at. Uh, what we would want to understand is, of course, you will go by basic statistics, which is to say that your sample size has to be significant enough for it to really mean something for the data set that you're working on, right? But at the same time, we would also place a lot of emphasis and importance on the quality of insights that you're able to draw out of that market research. For example, if you have sampled 1,000 shoppers, but your insights really are not something that jumps out of the page, it may not be as strong on the scale of how we would rate that insight market research proposal that you have made, right? At the same time, on the other hand, say you have done a little less, maybe you have gone through, you've surveyed 500 odd people, but the insights are really on point and they really bring alive something that sort of jumps out of the paper and makes us say, ha, this is something that we really find interesting. That is what we are looking for. So don't define only quantity, but look for quality in what you define, what you bring out from the market research that you do.
Thank you, Siddharth. We have one more question from Shivam. So he wants to understand the criteria on which the participants who will be submitting the idea for Over the Wall Season 11 will be judged, like evaluated on.
Sure. So I'll take that, Adya. So basically, the proposals or the business idea submissions will be evaluated on five criteria. It is relevance to the Marico context, consumer desirability, innovativeness of the idea, feasibility of implementation or essentially execution. And again, the last one is depth of market research or consumer insighting. These will be essentially the five criteria on which the business idea submissions will be evaluated.
Yes, we had one more question about how the ideal business proposal will look like and what are the key expectations from the participants. So,
I think we've answered this
yeah, this
question.
is the question.
We've already answered this question in the questions that preceded.
Yes. Lakhani is asking, can we include products aligning with Marico international market as an idea?
So, largely, we've given you the four categories, right, in which we are expecting you to submit your ideas. Again, whether that if you feel that there is a particular product which is more relevant to a specific Marico geography, basis the consumer inciting that you do of that particular geography, and you want to highlight that, please go ahead and do highlight that. So that is open. That is definitely open.
Yeah. Roshni, we have a question. Can you, from Laya, can you please give insights on the type of diversity and diversification that Marico aims to address?
So, so basically, see, when we have looked at our 4D strategy in the organization, we speak about diversification at two levels. First one is in terms of the core itself, where we are looking at a diversified product portfolio. So, for example, if I were to give you an example of Parachute, while Parachute is a core product, there are extensions of the brand in terms of a value added hair oils like Parachute Aloe, like Parachute Jasmine, and so on and so forth, which is some examples of diversification that we've done. Extending to that, I think we are looking at a diversification strategy at a very scaled level across the categories that we operate in, be it in India or international markets, right? In terms of diversity, again, there are three pillars of diversity strands that we focus on as an organization and consciously build upon. These three pillars are gender diversity. And again, here we have not limited ourselves to the traditionally understood binary definition of gender. This is across the spectrum of gender identities. The second pillar is persons with disability. Here, again, self explanatory, but we have alluded to the Rights of Persons with Disabilities Act of 2016 and work across the 21 types of disabilities that exist there and consciously work upon integrating this workforce into the organization. And the third pillar is thought diversity, where we look to integrate people with diverse perspectives, experiences, backgrounds, different sexual orientations into the organization. So these are the three pillars on which Marico is working on to build its diversity journey. And more importantly than diversity and its numbers is our inclusion journey and the culture of inclusion that we strongly want to propagate and ensure for each and every member who joins us.
Yeah. Thank you, Roshni. We have a question from Abir. Since it is the 11th season of Over the Wall, so to what degree the feasibility of the idea should be kept in mind so that the winning ideas get implemented by Marico? So,
You take that?
So, like yeah, Siddharth, please go ahead.
Yes, sure, go ahead, Rose.
So I think we've clarified that in the criteria of evaluation itself, that feasibility is absolutely an imperative, whether it is the 11th season or the 12th or the 15th. Feasibility of the business idea implementation will continue to be as critical to be able to, for the idea to be considered as a winning idea. Yeah.
yeah. There is a question from Webhub. What if we propose an idea and the company is already working on it in the back end? So, would that be considered?
It would be Weber. Obviously, if there is a new product development which is happening, which is confidential and you wouldn't know about it, if that idea comes in and we are able to see merit in that idea, we are able to look at certain aspects, which is a learning for the organization, be it in terms of consumer desirability, innovativeness, implementation, consumer inciting, so on and so forth, we will definitely consider that idea.
Thank you, Roshni, for answering this. Uh, we have one more question from Monish. What are the latest trends and consumer preferences that Marico is leveraging to drive its product offerings? Siddharth, can you take this up?
Yeah, sure. Uh, this question is from Munish, is it?
Yeah.
Yeah. So, hi, Munish. I think, see, there are multiple trends that are emerging, and especially in a post-COVID world, we have seen one of the biggest trends that we have picked up is the explosion of healthy foods as a category. And just to help you understand how that has changed, I would ask all of you on this call, to go to a local shop and see the amount of space healthy foods and foods occupies today. Go back 5 years, just go 5 years back and try and think how much of it was on the shelf. So that's something that we have really picked up as a trend. And if you see the way we have expanded our portfolio in the foods business, where we were primarily a oats and oats plus plus player to a range of products across the spectrum, that's one part where we have really expanded. We have also acquired a couple of companies in the same sort of whose portfolio choices are very adjacent to what we already have in Marico. So that's one of the trends that we have picked up. The other trend, of course, is something that we had picked up quite some time back. It's the emergence of male grooming as a big category in the country. We were one of the first companies, first large scale CPG companies to go ahead and invest in a direct to consumer brand called Beardo in the male grooming space. And after that, a lot of our peers also did that. But I think we continue to be the leaders in that space. In any of the male grooming, barring shaving, any of the male grooming categories that you take, we would largely be the number one CPG company in the country. So that's something, again, we have picked up. So these are things that we keep picking up, Munish, while I will not be in a position to tell you everything that we have picked up as a trend, but these are things that we have already done. And so things like these keep emerging, and then we leverage them to launch whatever new categories or products that we do or acquire companies.
Thank you, Siddharth. Again, we have a question from Ashish. Do we have to pitch a single product or a category of products is also acceptable? Like just a single product, do they have to pitch or, submit the proposal for a single product, or a category will also work?
So ideally, the the business idea should involve, when you're saying a category, I'm assuming that you will recommend specific introductions into that category from Marico, because the category becomes too broad. So hence we would say that, tell us what exactly in that category would you want Marico to introduce. If it is, say, one product with a couple of variants in it, if you mean that, yes, that you're more than free to suggest those. But we would essentially want you to focus on, like, because, and that's how we've designed the evaluation criteria also, that the idea needs to be very specific, something which Marico can actually pick up and implement, right, and not too broad based.
Yeah. So again, we have a question on the competition. Like, what are the expectations from the teams this year? So, other than the evaluation criteria that we have already shared, Roshni and Siddharth, do you have anything to add to the outcomes or the proposals that you're expecting from the students this year?
So that maybe you go, and I'll close that.
Sure. Yeah. So nothing as such. I think the evaluation criteria is pretty descriptive of what we expect. Once again, just stressing on this point that please pick up ideas that are feasible to implement. We don't want ideas on paper. We want ideas that can be executed, and hopefully, one of you, will secure a seed funding. That's when the competition really comes alive, right? And in the process, have fun. That's all.
Yeah, I think, and obviously, because we've clearly articulated the categories in which we are expecting your business ideas to come in, which is around healthy food, premium personal care, hair nourishment, and hair styling. Restrict your ideas to these categories, right? So that will be a learning from the previous seasons, and something that we would want all of you to be mindful of and ensure as you submit your ideas.
I think we have reached the end of Q&A. I think I'll just check quickly. We have one more question, if we can take that up, Siddharth and Roshni.
Sure.
Uh, Mohammed Suhaib Alam has asked, can we suggest some ideas for new markets?
So, Mohammed, this is slightly broad, as a question, because new markets could be different in every person's interpretation, right? So, we would say that even if you are submitting ideas, submit it primarily under these four categories, either in India or only in the countries that Marico already has a presence in. That would really make it relevant for us, and pick up your idea and run with it if the idea kind of qualifies what we are looking for. So that would be a request.
Yeah, I think I'll just quickly look for some final comments or questions. Deekshant has a question. Could healthy foods include, so I mean, out of the four verticals that we have talked about as per the theme of the Over the Wall season 11, Deekshant has a question. Could healthy foods include infant nutrition products as well?
I think I answered that, Adya. I think I saw
Yeah.
that question slightly earlier. So I think we've answered that. Yes, you can do your research and submit ideas under the categories that we've mentioned. Could be any product.
Yeah. Thanks a lot, Roshni and Siddharth, for answering the Q&A. I think we have answered the queries, the frequently asked questions that the students might have about the competition. I would request all of you to go to Unstop's platform to see the competition live and register in huge numbers. You can also follow us on Instagram and LinkedIn on our pages to stay updated about the competition. Thanks a lot for being a lovely audience. Roshni and Siddharth, any closing notes?
Nothing. Thanks everyone, and really looking forward to all of you and each one of you registering and sharing your most innovative ideas with us. So, looking forward to an enthralling Over the Wall season 11. Thank you.
All the best, guys.
All the best, everyone. Thank you.